I got to play when it was the Wild Wild West, as they call it, because my brother said we ruined it for everybody else that came after us because we didn't really have a whole lot of cares. We played hard and we lived hard. But that's what you learn in Morgantown. You learn the values of life and how to survive with little or nothing. Then you get something. At the end of the day, you find something. It's called a degree, which helps you make money for the rest of your life. So yeah, that's the one good thing about going to school now. Other than that, if there's anything else anybody like to know or ask, I'm more than willing. Trust me, my life is an open book. It's read on the internet every day. Once again, Daryl Talley, I graduated, was class of 80-82, because my first year in the NFL was in 1983. Anything else? Did I forget anything else out?
Yeah, well, hey, Daryl, let's just give it a hand for Daryl. Hey, his jersey, retired, the Hall of Fame, the Ring of Fame. Daryl Talley, my friend. Right here. That's it. And like you said, please come on up and ask questions to any of us throughout the night, afternoon. Yeah, because I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to say? People ask me questions. What do you say to them? I'm Dave Oblak. I'm sorry, I played freshman year, 1979, ended in 83. Jeff Hostart and I were captains. Went to the Hall of Fame Bowl, Peach Bowl, Gator Bowl with these guys. Out of Cleveland, and had some good players out of Cleveland. This guy may be one of them.
We had of the 22 starters, 17 of us in Ohio. Yeah, Cleveland area. That was my freshman year.
Yeah, we had a Cleveland connection going on there. But yeah, I'll tell you, people ask you, you played a lot, what's your favorite play? What's your favorite moment? What's your favorite this? What's your favorite that? So I'm thinking, I have tons of favorite plays, but I can remember two that I can think of right now. And one, I sacked Dan Marino. And until somebody proves me wrong, I believe I'm the only Mountaineer that sacked Dan Marino in West Virginia uniform. Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
He's thinking, isn't he? And then my number two play, well, it wasn't really a play, it was a moment. And a special moment for me was Jim Merritt's and I threw Coach Don Nealon on our shoulders when we kicked Oklahoma's ass out Norman back in the day. It was nice. We walked him off the field and gave him to Charlie, what was his name? What was the head coach of Oklahoma? Switzer. Barry Switzer, yeah. But anyway, those are the two biggest things. I recall many things in Morgantown. And to be honest with you, the true belief of why I'm here and doing this 40 years later was that, Morgantown, West Virginia, the Golden Blue accepted the Old Black family out of Cleveland, Ohio to be a Mountaineer, and that's why I'm here. I love you guys, appreciate everything, and we'll talk more tonight. Thank you.
Hey, I'm Charlie Fisher from Charleston, West Virginia, class of 70, so I'm actually the oldest one here today.
That's even older than Bernie.
I'm older than Bernie was a freshman when I was a senior.
That's what that's older than Bernie.
Yeah. And
That's all.
and the other thing that might shock you, I'm sitting here with all of these giants, and I was a defensive tackle. And 195 pounds. So anyway, I ended up in Morgantown. I had a brother that started as a defensive tackle. He was in the freshman class with Garrett Ford, Dick Lettridge, and those guys. So I just happened to see that 63-48 West Virginia pick game when I was 15 years old, and the stands were going absolutely bananas as they always do in a pick game. 63-48 was the highest scoring game at that time and for a long, long time. I went back and said, you know, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to be. But I was just totally overwhelmed. But was recruited by Bobby Bowden and played for Carlin and Bowden. And I'm just proud to be a Mountaineer. I'm proud to be sitting here with you guys, honestly. And Bernie, thank you for the invite. Bernie invited me up because he said he wanted me to be the oldest guy at the table. So anyway, I'm serving my purpose. I'm proud to be a Mountaineer. I'm proud to be here with these gentlemen, and I'll pass it on.
How you doing? I'm Jeff Sniffen. I played 86 through 91. Came to West Virginia by way of New Jersey, and I think the reason I went to West Virginia is because I wanted to get out of New Jersey. So, you know, being part of this family has been one of the most valuable things in my life. I remember when I went on my visit and people were talking about this guy named Brian Joswiak. You know, I was 6'7" like Brian, big guy, and said I got to meet this guy and started learning about him, and quickly made the choice that I wanted to be a Mountaineer. And, a lot of it has to do with that guy right there. So, but made the right choice. Got to play for the national championship in the Fiesta Bowl. Got to play with Major Harris, played with Darren. Just an incredible experience, and to still be a part of this family is invaluable. So right now I live in Orlando, Florida, and try to make it to many of these events as I can, especially the golf tournament that Brian puts on, Brian and Scott. That is one good time. So if you can make plans this far in advance, get your tickets and go. That's a great thing to be a part of. But anyway, it's nice to see everybody here, and thanks for coming.
Good afternoon. I'm Darren Studstill. I'm just excited to be here. I'm from West Palm Beach. I went to Palm Beach Gardens here, so this is my home. I'm great. I'm so happy to be here and be here with this Mountaineer family. Like I said, I went to Palm Beach Garden High School up here. Got 2 boys. They all graduated from Palm Beach Gardens. So why did I go to West Virginia? Actually, I was trying to prove my best friend that went to the University of Miami. I was going to show him that we were going to one day beat him. So we had that opportunity. So we had a bet that we would play against each other. So, but when I went up there on my visit, I just loved the atmosphere. All my heroes, I was a big Major Harris fan back in the day. So I had the opportunity to learn the history and learn about Darryl Talley. And I first, don't take this the wrong way, Brian. When I first saw him, I thought he was the white Mr. T there with the mohawk back in the day. So I knew him. So, but he's a great guy. I'm just happy.
You look like Colonel Sanders.
You remember when he had the, I know you know he had the mohawk back in the day. Yeah, but back then he had the mohawk. Yeah, he walked around. I was like, I don't know, I'm a little guy. But I'm just happy to be here. I love Morgantown. Haven't been back in a while, but I'm looking forward to just hanging out with the guys, and I'm here to answer any questions. And go Mountaineers.
Hey, I got to add this, and it really struck a chord, because I'm going to ask these guys about what we're feeling in terms of this season. But I got to go back to something Jeff said. Jeff, I want you to know I appreciate what you said, but that's the way it is. The Mountaineer player passes on to the next generation. All right, if it wasn't for these 2 guys right here, I wouldn't have been a Mountaineer. And if it wasn't for that guy, that next generation, you feel what I'm saying? all right? That we're family, and we're in a world right now, a culture. We were just talking about this. It's a very challenging time because we all came up through a program that you came in as a freshman, and the goal was to graduate at least in 4, maybe 5 years. I mean, it took me way bit longer than that. There's a gap. I mean, not only that's a whole nother nightmare. But anyway, if it wasn't, it's just a different time, all right? And all of us will never ever forget what it is to bring in that next generation of Mountaineer, because it takes a real special kind of a person to truly understand what Mountaineer football is and what it means to the folks that live in the state of West Virginia and then us that are driving around wearing that WV. I mean, we sport this everywhere we go because we're proud of it. And I want to know from each of you guys, I mean, we've all had great experiences, right? But that's all history. Right now is now. And I want to know what these guys are feeling about where we are right now in our football season, and maybe a little something about what we got to do in this one this evening. Quinch?
Well, outside looking in, I have not got to make a Mountaineer game this year, but I have got to watch many of them. And obviously, I don't see the physicality on both sides of the ball. You know, I was a running back. They told us, 30 times you got to lead us. And now we're throwing the ball 30 times. So I think, but football hasn't changed since off the day. Established the run, play physical, but we had a culture. Like Brian was saying. When the next guy, if I was out, I knew KJ was going to go in. If Rashid, I knew I could trust every single guy out there. And not that I don't see that, I wish we were more physical. I wish people were more scared to come to Morgantown and play, because I'd always heard about, that little ride they take in there and they'd be waiting on the hillside, throwing stuff at the bus and all that good stuff. Those stories, never get old. So I think we can get back to that. But it has to start from, the top. I think we're too nice. We're a little too nice. And but today, I think, Iowa State's a good matchup. I was with WVU in 2012 when we first went to the Big 12. Spent 4 years there in operation. So, these Big 12 venues, Iowa State's one of the better. And I don't know if you guys have been out there, but it's one of the nicer in the country. Their fans are loud, but I think we'll have a good game plan. I think we'll come out on top, because we, like you said, we really need one today, to make a bowl game.
Well, let's put it this way. You know what? We mentioned Iowa State. That was one of the 4 schools that recruited me. Iowa and Iowa State, Syracuse and West Virginia. So I'm glad I picked the right school. See, now what I think we need to be is we need to be a little more physical. We have to get in somebody's face and let them know we're here and we're not going anywhere. Because the mark of a real good football team is when the offense comes off the field, the other team's defense is still chirping. Because they're chirping at each other because they can't stop the offense. They don't know what to do. Why aren't you in your spot? Why aren't you here? So that's what we need to do. We need to take the fight to people. We don't need to wait on the fight to come to us. We got to be the person to initiate. And like my dad used to tell me, son, don't start them, just finish. Well, I'm saying we need to start this one and finish, because a football game's about 60 minutes, and you have to play all 60 minutes, not 99 minutes and 45 seconds like the Bills did last year. No, they got to play all 60 damn minutes, and I mean every minute. Play the first minute like you play the last minute, and that's the way I play the game. And I had friends that used to laugh when I played and the Bills were getting beat. We were 2-14 and 4-12. My other buddies that I graduated with, came out of school, would be sitting on the sideline watching me play, and they go, why the hell is Tally playing so hard? Look at him. He just won't quit. And I told him, I said, you know what? I'm never gonna quit. You're gonna have to shoot me or kill me to get me to stop. So that's the type of attitude I need these young guys to have. They gotta take, it's me against the world and me and my boys against all of you. Because guess what? As long as I got my guys on this side of the fence with me in the same colors I'm in, I know who the enemies are. Because you got a different color shirt on. And all of it can be wiped out. Because we can pick you off one at a time. We ain't got to eat you in one big bite. Just a little bit at a time. And that's the way we got to do it. We have to approach it as going out to actually start a war and win it. You start a war and win the war. That's what I need our guys to do. Win a war.
Coach Allie.
Well, he was giving me goosebumps, but I'll tell you what, I remember I was in a huddle with this guy. Being in a huddle with this guy is an experience. Here you are, a young kid, just playing, getting roughed up, beat up in these, you got 90 plays to play, and this guy is a wild dog, and just, he doesn't care if you miss a tackle. You should see this guy in a huddle getting you psyched up after you just screwed up and made a bad play. He doesn't care. I'm getting goosebumps talking to him. I'm like ready to go. Here we are 40 years later. Or was it 45? 45. But I'm telling you, quick story. First time ever meeting Don Nealon. We're in the bottom basement of Towers 1, 2, 3. I forgot which one it was, but we're sitting there and Coach Nealon, we had no idea who Coach Nealon was, but 4 or 5 guys were walking this way against the wall, and 100 of us football players are sitting there at 7 o'clock at night after dinner. And the AD at that time, he introduced Coach Nealon, and Coach Nealon came to the podium and looked around. We're all just kind of sitting there like this and slouched down and stuff. You remember Fred Shows. Coach Nealon said, "Can I see the hands of the seniors?" And all sporadically everywhere through the crowd, the hands were coming up like this, and he looked around, he said, "Okay, these 2 rows here, you guys, first 2 rows stand up, get out, seniors, sit here." That's number one. That's when I knew we were having a program right there. All right?
Frank Kenson, when he told Frank, young man, get your feet off that chair. Put your feet on the floor. Frank Kenson was an offensive lineman that was sitting in the room, in the meeting room with his feet up on the back of the chair. And the first thing he said when he walked in the room, young man, get your feet off that chair. Put your feet on the floor. First thing he said before he even started to talk to us. In Towers.
And I know he knows, remember that, because we were all just lounging out, hanging out, guys spitting, platoon, cup, and everything. And I mean, I can be telling you guys stories like crazy tonight, but Nealon had discipline, and I saw it. My high school team, I come from a great high school team in Cleveland, Ohio. We had discipline. Unfortunately, my first year was with Signetti, and I saw discipline slacking. We didn't have too well of a season. But when Coach Nealon came here, I saw discipline. We were going to play right. We did not have the 6'7", 260-pound offensive guard that ran a 4.40. Pitt and Penn State had those guys. We had these guys. We had guys that had this. It's called a heart. Our heart was bigger than those big linemen out there. We only need 11 guys. And we put 11 guys, the nastiest guys in the ball, on defense and offense, and we played with this thing. Hell, I was a nose guard, 205-pound nose guard soaking wet. Are you kidding me? Bring it on. I'm letting you know, we got 80 plays, and this one here, I got 79 more. Bring it on. His little skinny ass is only 210. What's he doing?
That took me to my senior year to get to 211. I was 146 pounds when I went to school.
But what I'm saying, I'm looking at 40 years later. You know, I was looking through the years of Mountaineers. Come on, guys. Come on. You're ranked preseason. You're down here preseason, postseason. You're there. Why can't we have a team consistently being in the top 10 preseason? Why? My thought is as far as a recruiting kid, he doesn't have what he has. Alabama. Alabama doesn't work out, I can go to Georgia. Okay, and then 4 or 5, okay, I can fall into West Virginia. Well, we're getting, in my opinion, we're getting those guys falling into West Virginia. Great athletes, but we need to get the other guys too. We need to have West Virginia as one of the first or second choices of these guys out there. We need that. Our recruiting needs to be fantastic. We jumped into, when I played, I think we were in the Big East, independent.
Independent, then
Yeah.
we went to the Big East. Then
Our-
we went to 12.
Yeah, but back then we had the Big East, and I looked at it, and Coach Lee, we had 3 important games, 3 bowl games: Pitt, Penn State, and Miami. The other ones we're kind of like supposed to win. So when I said, well, they're going to the Big 12, batter up, because you know what? We got a bowl game every damn Saturday. We got to strap it up and come to the plate every damn Saturday. Can we do it? You know, our bowl games is Oklahoma. We got them on a regular schedule nowadays, but back then it was a bowl game. So,
I went to one of the bowl games and the 52-10. See, so that wasn't really a bowl game. That was what they call a good old-fashioned whoop that I took and said, yeah.
but
And I had to take that one. I took one 52-10. I took one of those good old-fashioned whoopings. So I didn't like that. So now we get to return the favor my senior year. And we do just that.
We had guys, you can see it in a guy's face, in his eyes. When you're in a huddle, I mean, we got fans, they see it on TV. It's nice that they're zooming into players' eyes. They can just see the focus that these guys have. It's nice they're putting ex-ball players as commentators, so they can actually bring deliver how we feel when we're playing the game. But to be next to these guys in the huddle and know, hey, look, it's second down. We got to either stop them or we got to get the first down. Just being that, it's a phenomenal feeling, and I'm glad I had the experience with these guys at that time. But we all played with this. Today, I think these guys, they don't have this. They don't play with this. They worry about the showboating and intercepting the ball and individual stuff. It's a team sport out there, guys. All I need is 11 guys. Anyways, I can talk all night, but thank you guys. Appreciate it. And any questions, holler at us. Thank you.
That's kind of hard to follow up. And I can't really add much to what these guys said. I can put it in a different context. And I'll speak basically from the defensive side of the ball, but I knew that every guy that was playing with me, beside me, behind me, those were the guys that I wanted in a foxhole with me. You know, they were going to cover my back and I was going to cover theirs. And it all came right down to heart. I think we're all a little disappointed in what's happened this year. I don't think any of us saw this 3-5 at this point in time. Can they salvage it? It's going to be tough. But it boils down to the heart and the individual. I don't think there's a coach that ever did not have me ready to play. And when it got out to being on the field, it wasn't the coach playing. They gave me the game plan. I had to execute. And I don't see the execution play in and play out this year. You know, defensively, being a defensive lineman, I know the best thing for me as a defensive lineman was a great defensive backfield, because if there was great coverage, they gave me that extra second to get to the quarterback. By the same token, a good pass rush helped the very inexperienced defensive backfield, which we have this year. And so they're not helping each other out. And whether that's just lack of heart or maybe the guys being better. But I think it's there. I like Coach Brown. But it does. It starts right here. It starts right here. And I don't see that team concept of everybody is going to want you in the foxhole with them. But let's go Mountaineers. Let's pull the rest of the season out. I think we stand a great chance today. I think our defense should match up with their offense, which isn't. But I know Iowa State's got a really, really good defense, so our offense is going to get a test today. definitely going to get there.
Well, we're pretty much all going to echo the same things that each one of us said because where we came from. We all went through that program, and I don't think the game has changed much, like you said, but I think the attitude of the player may have changed. Not the talent; these guys are unbelievable. The size, the strength, unbelievable specimen athlete, just incredible, right? But what I think has changed is the individualism in the game. And back when we played, keep talking like we're a bunch of old men, which we are, but we don't have to repeat that.
Somebody
So,
speak for yourself.
not yet, you'll get there. But West Virginia, we talked about all the games are on TV now. Every game's on TV. Everybody, when we had a TV game, it was like, damn, we're on TV. When we played Syracuse on ESPN at night, it was a night game in Morgantown on ESPN. I mean, it was unbelievable for us.
3 games on TV.
Right. Now every game, even if it's not televised, you'll find it was taped somewhere. It was, it was on TV. So I think that kind of created the individualism. One thing I know that's true is when we played, there was a pride for the state of West Virginia and amongst ourselves. So our driver was that pride. Plus there's also something that I think everybody will understand up here what I'm talking about. We played smash mouth football. And that came from Don Nealon. And it meant something. And there was no just celebrating when you make a sack, just celebrating when you make a touchdown. It was every play and 4 quarters of football. And I think that's a problem now. We get, we're behind or, things happen and then the 4th quarter we're just lollygagging around.
Hey, Sniff, real quick.
Yeah.
You got to remember this. Coach Nealon was never going to get in a bar fight. But the guys that he surrounded himself with would go to battle with us in any bar, anywhere, is what I'm saying. So the guys that Coach Nealon put around him were nasty, demanding, tough, hard-nosed, and if you can't handle it, go by. Here's your bus ticket, all right? Coach Nealon was the leader. Now he'd give you a little nudge every now and then. Most of the time he'd go talk to these guys and he'd sick them on. Go, hey Tally, you go talk to Joseph and straighten him out.
Yeah, we held each other accountable. If you screwed up, you didn't have to worry about the coaches coming to get your ass.
Don't say nothing to you.
You'd have somebody like Brian in your face
You got
going.
your teammates on you. Your teammates are doing it.
Yeah, that was the
It's
difference.
like the whole incident when went down to a fraternity. No, I'm not going to tell. I'm just saying went down to a fraternity. Went down to a fraternity.
Hey, you already started it. Go ahead.
They started it. We ended
We had
it.
our own fraternity.
We had and that's exactly what I told them. I told everybody that was the reason why I didn't join a fraternity. I had my own fraternity, and it was called WVU football. That was my fraternity. And I told them, I said, look, what are you guys going to do for me when I have to get something done? I need help with my homework. You're not going to help me. I can ask one of my teammates, they may help me. I need somebody to help me push a car. They're not going to help me push a car. My teammates will help me do that. So I told them, I said, look, I don't see a reason to join one. I've already joined one. My fraternity will last me for a lifetime. And guess what? It's a lifetime, and I still got this fraternity going. So guess what? This tournament's going to live as long as I do. And that's it. That's what you have. You have to immerse yourself in where you're at. And immerse yourself in the school and the university. And it will do the same to you. But you just have to do that.
I really think everything has been said, but I just want to add a little bit to the conversation, and something that I'm disappointed in that shows up on the field is like what everybody talked about. It's the culture. culture you have off the field shows up on the field. And I think that, I remember in one year we went 4-6, and we were so disappointed. We felt like we let the guys who went before us down. And that whole off season, we had a responsibility to the culture next year. And I think those little things we did with 4-6, we got it done and went 11-0. And because the culture outside and how guys will hold us accountable, I just don't see it showing up on Saturdays like it used to. So that's it.
We better do something.
Yeah.
Somebody better shit gonna get on the line.
Let's go Mountaineer.
If I can just add real quick to that, I try to put myself in the kids' positions to this day too. Okay, hey, my head coach recruited me. 2 years later, he leaves. He's not with me. Head coach recruits. 3 years later, he's gone. So, in fairness to the players too that are here, these kids need leadership. That's where our seniors need to step in. And in today's world, coaches leave. Coaches leave. Coaches leave. They come to West Virginia. They're unsuccessful. They leave, but they're successful, they get bought out, they leave too. So what's West Virginia arm wrestle in here? The kids need leadership. These seniors need to step up and say, listen guys, you know, all these coaches that are coming in here, they're here for a reason. You know, they're our father away from home, they're here for a reason. Let's stick together as a group and follow their instruction to become West Virginia football. We have to maintain and carry that baton. But that's strong. I mean, I come from Coach Signetti, and then I went to Coach Nealon. And fortunately, we had 20 years of Coach Nealon. He was up and down with his records as well. But I watched him play. The players played football for him. But I just wanted to give a little point out to where a player may be thinking, about the coach and stuff like that.